In this video, we walk you through the entire evisceration process. You will see the same process from 3 different angles: clean, calm, and step by step. Heather agreed to slow down her methods, but still show how comfortably you can process a broiler chicken in under 1 minute. The goal is to get you to process poultry with confidence and respect. So I'm going to talk through 1 or 2 of these, and then we'll get into some of the deeper philosophy about processing and time and motion studies as we go through our views here. But we got the feet off, we cut the neck off, reached in right there and dislodged the crop and made sure that that trachea and esophagus was loose. She cut the entire tail off, which is different from how I do it. I keep the tail and cut the oil gland off. But for her, when you're doing a lot of birds, and she typically has a small crew, and she's the only one eviscerating, cutting that tail off in one fell swoop and getting the oil gland at the same time worked out for her process. She goes in and scoops all the guts out, which we'll talk about in a second, does her J cut and her little incision around the vent to release all of the guts on the inside, pulls off the heart, gets the liver by pinching the gallbladder off, and everything goes into the gut bucket. So we're going to pull another bird out. These are just simple Harbor Freight shears that have been cleaned and then greased with a food grade grease. But everything that Heather's doing now has passed inspection. She does as many things as she can with her bird in its initial position, flips it over to the front, snips the neck off because she doesn't include the neck, goes in, reaches with that finger and just pops that crop and the esophagus off, incision right above, or getting rid of the tail, incision right above the vent. Maybe that knife could have used a little bit of sharpening, but we were all excited about filming for today. And here she is loosening any membranes, taking the back of her hand and rubbing it along the outside of the inside of the cavity and dislodging everything, hooking her fingers around the top where the esophagus is and pulling everything out the backside, doing a J cut on one side, a little cut on the other, and a double check for lungs as she transfers the bird over to the next station. A quick pull of the heart and a pull of liver by pinching the gallbladder, and we are off to the races. Next bird, next view. Now, as we get into the second angle, I want to discuss the mere act of taking a video of you cleaning your chickens or any of your processing steps, because when you're getting into processing, you quite often forget this step. Time and motion studies, because this is one of the most industrial aspects of what we do as pastured poultry farmers and livestock farmers. When it comes to raising birds, there's different breeds, different shelters, different feed regimens, different management styles. But when it comes to breaking down a bird, there's a lot of universal knowledge that is, easy to translate from one system to another, even if you're talking the differences between a tabletop setup like this and a shackle system that you might see in a more industrial, larger scale line. And what Heather and her husband Mike and I did is we shot videos of each step of the processing that day, this one included, so that we had a timestamp of how long it took you to do it. Are there any inefficiencies? Can we go back later and review the process and see if there's places for improvement? Because a long processing day is a long processing day. And typically people in our boat have to wake up, do morning chores, drink a lot of coffee, set up the processing day, run the processing day. It's where people can get hurt. It's pretty brutal on the person. It's definitely pretty brutal on the animals. And it's where you can make or break your money, because things can go wrong and you can have something that you've raised for 8 weeks become unsellable product in the blink of an eye just because you popped a gallbladder or whatever might go wrong that day. We don't have to go down that road because there will be other videos. So I encourage you to take those videos, stop and dedicate somebody on one day that you're processing to go through, look at your line, make a little documentary about it. It doesn't have to be polished, but you cut it up and review it later, and you'll be able to find your efficiencies and really tailor your process to improve as you grow, or at least make it a little bit more or a little less painful on your homestead when you go to eviscerate year after year. We created this video as an educational tool and as a means of conversation. So if you have questions about how this process went together, leave them in the comment section below. Or you can join Heather and I at the annual chicken conference, the APA conference, which is going to be in Florida in 2026 in January. You can find all the details at appa.org. If you want any more information on how to raise your chickens, you can head on over to Farm Marketing Solutions, where I have a number of published books and a ton of free videos and blog posts on how to do all of the above. Thanks for taking the time to watch our video, and until next time, I will see you out in the field.